Hey, family, I just want to say thank you again for taking the time to listen to today's episode. If it wasn't for you guys, we would not be here. We bring every guest on to teach, to motivate, to inspire you. You are the reason that we are here. But the only way we are able to help more people is if you guys can like and subscribe to our channel, or even share a video to your friend. That'll mean the world to us and the team. So enjoy today's episode, and we'll see you soon. Justin,
Hey,
first and foremost, thank you for being here, man. I don't know where this conversation is going to go, but we're going to go there. So you are maybe 30, around early 30s right now?
33.
33, looking like 24. Oh
Thanks.
my goodness. You this man.
Stop it.
Yo, I
Stop
have a
it.
question, man. You have been, well, clearly not married yet.
Mm-mm.
How has the journey of, you don't have to give me details. I'm
Mhm.
not asking for details, but if you want to, you can.
Yeah.
How's the dating world going for you?
Oof. Dating world. Currently?
Ooh, we can get there
In the
next, but like
past?
in the past.
Sure. Dating world has been ups and downs.
Okay.
It's I've been in a few relationships. None of them have worked out.
Mm.
And where God has me now though is just a season of singleness. And all that just to say, man, everything I've gone through in the past, every past relationship, I've gained a lot of perspective, insight, just good value. And I feel like each one has helped me understand who I actually am and what I'm looking for. But in short, I'm still single. And that's where I'm at.
So clearly the other ones definitely didn't work out because you're still single.
Still
Makes
single.
sense. So how's it now?
It's good. Yeah. I would say it's been weird. It's been weird.
It's a different approach this time.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Why is it a different approach than previous ones?
Because I've done it. I've done it the way so many other people have done it before. And so a lot of my boys are married
Okay.
or in committed relationships. And I'm happy for them. They're doing great. But for me, from an early age, I've been in relationships. And I always thought I knew what I wanted. And I based a lot of that off of what other people told me was good or what I should be looking in a relationship. Or, for example, social media. Hey, these are the things that a happy relationship looks like. These are the things that a man should be looking for.
Can we go deeper into that as far as what are the things that you were looking for before?
Yeah, for sure. So to begin with, 10 out of 10 on looks.
Okay.
Should be really pretty, right? Good job, good family, dress really nice.
So all the girls you dated in the past, you had to meet their family. That was on your bucket list to make sure you met their family.
Early on, no.
Not early
Later
on,
on, yeah,
you wanted
absolutely.
to. That was one of your things. Okay.
Yeah,
Continue.
that just came with, maturity, I would say. Because at that point I was looking for marriage, right? But in the beginning, it was all just things that the world said, hey, this is what a good wife should have: money, wealth, good position at a job, good fashion. And over time, that just shifted, you know?
Mm. It's funny because I've never heard someone say that the girl had to have a good job and had to have their life set in stone, like set in place already. I've always heard the opposite, where the man had to have all those things checked off. What, like, did someone tell you, like your parents or like friends tell you that's what a girl needed to have? That's why it was in your thoughts to look for, excuse me?
No, it wasn't my family. It was definitely the people that I was around or what I was seeing. Um, I think this vision growing up was, hey, when you get older, when you're married, you want to have children, you want to have a big house. And a part of it was also me saying, hey, how is that going to be possible? Well, I need a good job, but my partner needs to also have a really good job. Also, maybe the community I was a part of, um, being South Asian, right, Indian
Mm.
specifically, majority of the women are in the medical field, and so I would say many of them have good paying jobs,
Yeah,
right?
that makes
And
sense.
I think that's also where it came from. But yeah, I mean, over time though, like I said, that's definitely shifted, and money really doesn't matter for me as much anymore. But I'm sure we can dive deeper into that if you want. But
I want to go to another point, like how this had changed from what you were looking for before to now. Like what has changed?
God, my my relationship with God. So growing up, I had everything I wanted, everything that I didn't even think I needed. I had the things that people said, "Hey, man, that's awesome! Like you have status, you get these many likes on photos, you have these many friends, you're invited to these places." All these things I turned into, okay, that means I'm successful. That means I'm doing well. If everyone else says that these are the good things that are going on in your life, I must be doing well. As I got older, I realized, wait a minute, let's take a step back. They're saying I'm happy. I'm not happy though. They're saying that I should be happy, but I'm not happy. So I went through many years where I was toying with this. I couldn't figure out why. Why is it that everyone else is saying that I'm happy, but I don't feel that way? And as I dove deeper into it, and through many ups and downs and many conversations with people older, younger, my sisters, for example, very wise and great counselors, through many mistakes as well, I learned that everything I told myself I wanted were not things that I actually wanted. And then I found God. And in doing so, I started to realize that all the things that really mattered in life were the things that people weren't doing around. They weren't the things that people were going after. And a part of that kind of caught my attention. The whole motto of going against the flow is something that I discovered at a church conference when I was 18 years old. I got in trouble in high school, and my mom just had enough of me. And she sent me to a church conference with my oldest sister, Simi, and her husband, John, at the time. And while I was down there, it was a church conference, and I didn't really mess with church at that point. But while I was there, that was the theme, going against the flow. I didn't really understand what it meant in the moment, but when I left the conference, I realized, hey man, like everything that you see in the world, that's one way to look at it. But all the all the good things require some hard work. In order to do that, you kind of have to go against the flow of what other people are doing. So that's kind of been the motto that I followed ever since. And it's kind of been like my compass in life to help me decipher like, hey, what should I be going after? If that makes sense. I'm sure that needs more explanation.
If
But
you want, give it more.
yeah, so in the end though, like I was saying, God, um, the more and more I pressed into just letting go of what my friends were prioritizing, what my friends wanted me to do. And then I started, this might sound weird to the viewers, but I started hearing more from God. And it was more like nudges in the beginning, nudges of, hey, don't do that. Hey, like, you sure you want to drink that? You sure you want to go hang out with those people? And it was like a guilt feeling almost. But after time, I kept trusting that little nudge. And I realized that it was someone kind of protecting me, almost like a guardian angel. Then the deeper and the longer you spend doing that, you realize it's more than that. And for me, it was God. And now here I am, 33. That was like when I was 18. So from 18 to 24, I was kind of doing my own thing. And then from 24 to 27, in and out of faith. And then from 27 to now, I've been getting a lot deeper in my faith and what I believe in, and just Christianity in general, you know?
Now to look at the other way around it, as far as what you saw in a woman, what did what were you trying to present from yourself when you were dating? Like what you were trying to show off, not just your looks, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you think you had to have in order to find this woman that you wanted to marry at that time?
Yeah. Back then, it was popularity,
Mm.
status, and I had to be a funny guy. People had to like me. That was the biggest thing. People pleaser.
Yeah, that making a funny guy is a good one because if someone makes my wife laugh too much, you know where I'm looking. Watch yourself, boy.
You're a clown
Anyway,
too, bro.
continue.
You're a clown too. Come on
Anyway.
now. No, those are the main ones. Absolutely.
And what has changed from now?
I stopped living to please other people.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you think that is what a lot of people are doing now in the dating world?
In the dating world.
If you think
In the dating world, I think a lot of people are putting out the image that they put out is just not them. It's a false image. And I can't say it's entirely their fault. I think a lot of this is because of what they're seeing around themselves. For example, you could see a very beautiful woman and she seems like she has everything put together. But then when you start talking to them after a couple of months, you realize that's just an image that you see. And behind the walls, there's pain, there's just hurt, same thing. But there are things that need to be fixed or adjusted. And the same thing goes for men, right? I met a lot of guys. I've hung out with a lot of guys who have just said, "Hey, women want this: a guy who has a six pack, a guy who has good money, dresses well, and has status." So they change who they are to be that person.
Mm.
And I've had friends do this, and I know personally that some of those friends, it took a toll on them mentally. And it took them years to realize it. But when they did, they became the original person I became friends with again. And for them, they would tell me, man, dude, I don't know why I did this. I don't know how that happened, but I'm so happy it's over.
Mm.
So that's also confirmation for anyone else, right? I'm talking about myself of, hey, don't try to please other people. Don't try to change just to impress this one girl, right? Because again, like I said earlier, that girl that looks so good, she has a lot of things she has to work on too, you know?
Yeah. I know you've been definitely longer in a dating period than I have ever been. Has social media made it harder in the dating world? You've been in it for almost 10 years, right? Almost 10, maybe
Yeah.
11 years. And social media has been out that long,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even a little less. What do you think? What do you think though?
Harder in terms of actually finding a girl to date.
Or just finding someone that maybe just not dating, but when it comes to what's the right terminology I can put it? When it comes to the process of dating and getting to know someone, does social media make it harder to get to know someone in that phase?
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I would say in certain aspects, depending on the type of woman, yes. Because again, if you get too infatuated with the fact of, hey, let's go to her page. Okay, how many followers does she have? Okay, last picture. Okay, how many likes? And then you start getting, wrapped up into that idea of, oh, is she worth it?
Mm.
Right. And then you start looking at the image that she portrays. You say, oh, okay, well, she goes here, she travels a lot, she has friends who are cute. Oh, they dress well. And then without even knowing it, you're trying to change maybe who you are to fit into their life. And so I'm saying this because I've done that before. And so it does impact dating in a negative sense. On the other side, it actually has benefited me too, because when I realized I was doing that years into it, now I use it as a filter of some sort to say, okay, like I personally right now, I'm looking for, a grounded woman, a spiritually grounded woman,
Mm.
someone who is strong in her faith, someone who loves God. And to my benefit, social media will do the filtering for me because when I go to their page, I can see the type of content that they're putting up. And I'm not saying the stuff I put up on my page suggests anything that I'm like the most holy guy because I don't use social media like that as much as other people. But, they're putting things up there that put out an idea of a type of woman that I just doesn't, I don't want to come join me by my side as my wife one day, then that's easy for me to use to kind of eliminate them from that pool, if that makes sense. So it works both ways, depending on the type of season of life you're in, the type of person you're trying to date, and just being very honest. Like, are you your intentions? Are you dating because you want to marry someone, or are you dating because you want to have fun and just mess around? Right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Before I got you on the podcast, we never actually had a conversation, just you and I, before, a long one.
Yeah.
We've had conversations with other people around.
Right.
And one thing that always shocks me about you is that it looks like, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like you like to see other people happy. What do you say to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Everyone needs to be happy. Now they don't need to be, but I love making sure other people feel warm, included, and happy. I think a part of that was because growing up, when I was in school, I wasn't the most popular guy at all, and I would sometimes feel like I was unseen. And because of that, I feel like God has just reminded me, like, hey, that person sitting over there, not talking to anyone, like maybe you could just try to cheer them up, like just go talk to them. Let them know that they are seen and include them, make them feel included. So I think even as my profession being a teacher, it's great because you get all these different types of personalities that you deal with each and every day. Shout out to the other teachers you've had on here. But you know the personalities that you deal with, wide variety, but you always have a few kids every year who are going through some crazy stuff at home, and no teacher ever sees it. Like, their other teachers might not see it, but certain teachers see it, and you just know that there's a dark place, or that they're not totally happy. And if I could just do something to cheer them up in some way, even if it lasts just for one day, that's better than 0 days. And everyone deserves that.
I'm the same way. I definitely like to see people especially who are choosing to isolate themselves from everybody, like being that person to go against the grain and be like, hey, I know you don't want to be talking to nobody, but I'm going to be here to talk to you until you tell me not to talk anymore.
Right.
Or you just stop talking.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just going to be there. And I like to see them happy, because then you see them come out of the comfort zone, get to know who they actually are.
That's why you're my guy. Here we go.
Thank you, bro. Thank
of course. You. Yeah.
You were talking about the kids and you teaching kids. Almost 9 years now, 10 years?
Yeah. 10 years in January.
10 years in January. Look at that. That's amazing, man. Shout out to you.
Woo.
How has, we were talking about social media. How have kids changed from the first year of teaching till now? Like, what have you seen be a big difference from those kids the first year to the kids you have in front of you now?
Respect. Take a guess, James. In which way?
Respect? Like, just the word respect?
Respect.
The lack of it.
The lack of it. Correct. Do you think they're more respectful now or back then?
Think back then.
Back then. Why would you say that?
Funny. This is my podcast and you're interviewing me. I say lack of respect because I think just the lack of discipline has been a lost value in just parenting in general.
Yeah.
I also think that since kids now have access to the world in a faster way, meaning their phones, it's literally the world in their hands. They can literally type in anything and they're experiencing something they should have never saw.
Yep.
Or back 10 years ago, they were never saw until they were an adult, And I think them seeing different types of people and seeing how bad behaviors can lead to good things. That's what it portrays, right? It portrays, oh, you can be this type of person and get this good result. Oh, let me do that too. But not knowing what's actually going on. So what do you think, though?
First of all, I love getting perspective from other people or individuals dealing with youth. Because let's not forget, you're in charge of the youth group at your church. Doing a good job there, but
Thank you.
Yes, sir. But I mean, I agree with what you're saying. The now, okay, back then, 10 years ago to now, respects change. Um, Nowadays, I would say, adding to what you said, a lot of the parents are actually, I feel like, allowing their children just to kind of parent themselves. And there's a lot of reasons. And keep in mind, COVID, as for things have changed, right? But it feels as if parents aren't even present in their children's lives, literally like in their homes. And that's a problem because now kids walk around thinking they are the leaders of their home. And in many cases, they are. They're literally taking care of my students or students I've dealt with in my school, at least. They say that they take care of their younger brothers and sisters. Now, they're not saying that they're totally by themselves, but you're left to kind of believe that sometimes. So if they're doing that, I mean, give them, if they are raising their younger sibling by themselves, they are an adult. And if they are an adult, when they come to class, they think they're an adult. And now it's not a teacher talking to the student, it's a teacher talking to an adult in their eyes. And now they demand respect. And then when I say, hey, you can't go to the bathroom right now, and they say, hold up, why not? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And they start talking back a little bit. So in the last 3 years, especially because of COVID, there's been a increase of just misbehavior, we'll say, in the classroom. And that looks like students who are more violent, students talking back, students cursing at other students because they're not getting what they want. So,
How can we change that? How can we get it back to where it was?
who's next? I mean, we need more young minds who are out there trying to lead the youth and the young adults. Um, I mean, it kind of like we can't just say young people should be helping young people. It has to come from everywhere, right? There needs to be people who are open to change, people who are open to not being rigid in old styles that might have worked previously. Because this world that we're living in now is changing so quick every day, right? Everything, like you said, is at on your phone, right at the right your fingertips. So if that's the case, then I mean, in short, we need to pour out our love and have extra grace for any type of misbehavior. And like in my class, that's the only way I get through it because I'm very rigid when it comes to the classroom policies and management and behavior. But the last 2 years, I've learned that if I keep doing that, I'm just going to end up hating my job. And like, I hope this never happens, but not liking the students, you know? So last year was the first year. Just as a quick example, there was a kid who was coming to class late to all of his classes late, like 15 to 20 minutes. And in my class, it's like, no, you get to class on time. And so I had a conversation with the kid multiple times, wasn't working. Fast forward a month into school, I finally got him to show up 5 minutes late consistently every day. And that was still late. But in my head, that was a huge victory because he was showing up 15 minutes late to other teachers' classes. So then that's the first step. And you applaud them. You say, yo, great job. Because they're trying, they're adjusting. So if they're adjusting, then we should at least be grateful and we should adjust too to show them that, hey, you matter and I'm going to meet you halfway. And then from there, you try to coach them up and explain to them why this same pattern or habit should be continued in other classes as well. But overall, I would say just more love, more grace, and just more people who are willing to stop and listen to these young minds and not just overreact and yell at them and lecture, lecture, lecture. Hear what pain they're going through, hear what's bothering them. And then if you can give some kind of insight, give it. But you don't always need to have an answer, you know?
How have you used what you have seen in the classroom in the past 9 years? And now you're put into leadership in your church, right? Leading people your age almost. How have you transferred those skills to there?
Skills from the classroom to church or the other?
Yeah,
Which way?
transfer from the classroom to church.
Skills from classroom to church. Oof, I haven't thought about this.
You can just say one. You don't have to do a whole list.
Yeah. Hmm. You got me thinking here, Mr. LeBoy. Let's see. I think let me think a little longer.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it would be the fact that everyone gets to a certain place in life at their own pace. And that applies to school because, not everyone's going to understand algebra as quick as other people. And I can't be upset with that. But same thing in church, just because I went through something a certain way and took a certain amount of time, I can't expect someone else to get there in the same amount of time. And if I had grace, then I got to give grace too. And sometimes more grace. In short, that's the
Good.
response.
And there's one thing I do at the end of the podcast, and I ask people this one question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read it. You get one phone call to the entire world. What do you say?
Yikes. One phone call to the entire world. I don't know, man. That's tough. I mean, if you know me, I like to talk. So I couldn't say one thing.
You only
But
get to say one thing. The phone is put in your hands, the phone is dialed, and everyone's listening. And what do you say?
pray. That's what I would say.
Why?
Because prayer gets me out of everything I ever had an issue with. Like, so this isn't really answering a question directly, but it would be something in regards to God. Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, God. For me, it's just been the ultimate beacon of source of strength and encouragement and love and happiness. And it's just been so real and raw at the same time too. But that's the one thing I've been trying to, just send out to other people to encourage them with, which is just, like whatever problem you have, just give it to God. So go ahead and give it to God. There we go. That's a little better message. Give it to God. Leave it in God's hands. Every time you do that, anytime you do that, it might take a while, but he's gonna hear you and he's gonna give you an answer, in some way. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending the time to come today. And thank you for just sharing your advice and sharing your testimony in that.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate you, man.
God bless, bro. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course.
Good luck.
Thank you.
That's a wrap, boys.